Joining us now is Erin Colbert, who is the Environmental Outreach Coordinator with Charlotte-Mecklenburg Utilities, and she's going to be telling us about the Blue Planet Water Environmental Center.
Yes.
That's a mouthful.
Yes, it is, and you got it just right.
So tell us, what is this facility and what do you do?
Yes, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Utilities, as most people probably recognize the name, is the water and wastewater service provider for Mecklenburg County residents. So for those who are on public water and sewer services, we would provide those services to the county. And as part of our operations, we provide free public education for environmental issues. And one of the ways that we do that, in addition to going to community festivals and presentations, we also provide environmental education at this facility in Huntersville. It's located in conjunction with our Lee S. Dukes water treatment plant. So I kind of describe it to folks as sort of a miniature discovery place, if you will.
That's what it looks like when you
look
at the picture.
Yes, it's got a lot of hands-on exhibits, and it really helps citizens and students help follow the cycle of water through our community. It's custom built. It was created for us to specifically describe the water and wastewater services for our community, and it gives people just sort of a glimpse of the journey that water takes through the Charlotte community.
What ages is it geared towards?
Yes, the Blue Planet really is applicable to any age group, but the most visitors that we would get would probably be elementary students and middle school students. But we do have a lot of interactive exhibits and a lot of videos, so it really has a lot of applicability for adults too. So we do sometimes get some adult groups and some college age groups that are interested in learning more about the water treatment process or about how water is delivered to customers in our area.
Now, can you go at any time, or do you have to set tours, or how does it work?
Because it's housed at one of our water treatment facilities, that's a secure facility, so we do ask that folks schedule an appointment with us in advance, and we can give you some details on how to do that. Typically, we would primarily offer tours on the first Tuesdays and third Thursdays of each month, and that gives folks an opportunity to come in and have an experience of the Blue Planet, and then we also offer water plant tours at the same time.
Oh, so they can see the actual process?
Right. That's right. So as part of the experience, you would come in and probably receive an introduction either from me or from one of the other utilities employees, and then we would give the students or the group an opportunity to take a look around in the Blue Planet. In there, they would see things like displays about the water cycle, displays about the water treatment process, how we filter the water in the water treatment process, and some of the different water quality tests that we do in our laboratory.
Well, it's funny because last week on our show we had the Catawba River Keepers on
perfect.
talking about
the
cleanliness of the water and the testing that they're doing.
So all that ties very closely together. We have actually a really good relationship with them and value the partnership that we have, because it really does take a community to protect a water supply.
Right.
You know, we're one of the withdrawers of the water supply to provide the drinking water services for customers, but part of our focus is also helping to protect the quality of the source water, because the cleaner the lakes are, the less treatment we have to do, and the less expensive it is to treat the water. So it's really tied very closely together.
Talk about the cycle then, what people would learn. So for this area, where does the water come from? How does it treated?
Good. Well, for our particular community, we have two sources of water. We primarily provide 80% of the drinking water for Charlotte-Mecklenburg from Mountain Island Lake, and then the other 20% from Lake Norman. So if you were to visit the Blue Planet and have a water plant tour there, that's located in Huntersville, so the source for that particular treatment plant would be Lake Norman. So folks have an opportunity to come in and kind of walk outside with us on the basins and have a chance to really see the treatment firsthand. It surprises a lot of people how much treatment there is involved before you turn on the tap and out comes that clean drinking water. So we actually we're sending about 100 million gallons of drinking water daily here in Charlotte. That's typically what we're producing from customer demand among the 3 water treatment plants that we operate. So if you imagine 100 million gallons of water is so much volume, it's really hard to kind of wrap your mind around that. So visiting the plant gives you a little bit of a way to kind of compartmentalize that in your head. So the treatment plant where the Blue Planet is housed usually treats about 20 million gallons a day. So when we go outside, we show them the first stage would be rapid mix. That's where we have these big mixers and we add a very common substance called aluminum sulfate. So you can find that in the grocery store when you're trying to make pickles. So we add aluminum sulfate to the water, and that acts as a coagulant, or it helps to clump together the dirt and the sediment and the clay and some of the other materials that are coming from the lake. So we do sort of a coagulation process or a clumping process, and then it goes to what we call a sedimentation basin, where those clumps fall to the bottom through process of gravity, and that takes about 3 hours. And then we remove that from the water, and then it's filtered through various types of silt and sand and gravel and charcoal.
Similar to a water
Similar
filter.
to a water filter, exactly. It's just that on a much larger scale, exactly. And then we add some finishing chemicals, things that you would expect, chlorine to disinfect the water and to make sure it stays safe on the way to the customer. We also add a little bit of fluoride to promote dental health, and then we also add a little bit of lime to increase the pH and reduce the chance of rusting in our pipes and in customers' pipes. Then it goes into storage, and as people are driving around, they probably see the elevated storage tanks, and that's part of our network of storage provision for the county. So we send it both to on-ground storage and above-ground storage, and then it's pumped to the customer where they can just turn it on and
then to finish the cycle, when it leaves the house?
Exactly. Okay, so when it leaves the house, I think people are fairly familiar with kind of what happens to get it to your house,
Right.
but it's sort of a mystery of where it goes when it leaves the house.
Right.
So when you're taking your shower, flushing the toilet, washing your hands, all of the used water, the dirty water, we call wastewater, and that travels in separate pipes, of course, and that goes to one of our 5 wastewater treatment plants in the county. So we have those in various locations around the county, and those provide a critical environmental and protection of public health as well. So it used to be, that waste was flushed downstream and it wasn't treated, and they were seeing a lot of outbreaks of disease and cholera and dysentery and hepatitis. So treatment of wastewater is one of those kind of unseen things that happens every day, but a lot of people don't realize that we're treating about 80 million gallons of wastewater every day here in Mecklenburg County. So those happen, like I said, at 5 treatment plants, and we have there's sort of 2 trains of treatments. They treat the liquids differently than how they treat the solids, but in any event, whenever both of those treatment processes are complete, you have the pollutants removed. The water that comes out of a wastewater treatment plant looks just like drinking water. So when it comes out, there's no odor, they do very careful testing, and all of that is highly regulated by the federal government, and then it goes back to receiving streams behind the plants. So all of that, I think a lot of people sort of have the misperception that it's dirty water going back to the creeks, and that's absolutely not the case. It's actually improving the water quality from the creek water that's already there.
It's already there.
That's interesting.
So it's a pretty
really
remarkable
interesting.
process. It is, and it's one of those things that, when you pay your water and sewer bill, that's one of the things that you're helping to fund.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I
Absolutely.
highly recommend, again, the tour. Give the information one more time for the viewers.
Perfectly. So in terms of visiting the Blue Planet, there's 2 ways to get in touch with utilities to do that. The phone number is 704-621-0854, and then the other option could be email, and that's at bplanet@charlottenc.gov.
Okay, great. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
We really
Glad to be here.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
View the